The hook, the mansion of the millionaire, shined with golden light. Music filled the air, and guests from every corner of the city gathered in the great hall. Men in fine suits laughed with glasses in hand. Women in bright gowns whispered about power and money. Chandeliers sparkled like stars above them. It was a night of wealth, beauty, and secrets. The millionaire stood tall near the staircase, his wife by his side. She wore a diamond necklace that caught the light with every movement. Her smile looked calm, but her eyes carried a hidden sadness. For years she had lived with an emptiness, the loss of her only daughter. No one knew the pain she kept behind that graceful face. Then, in the middle of laughter and music, her eyes froze, her hand trembled. The glass slipped from her fingers and fell to the floor. The sound of breaking crystal stopped the music for a second. Her voice broke the silence as she whispered, "She looks like our lost daughter." The guests turned, confused. The millionaire looked at his wife in shock. He followed her gaze, and there, at the edge of the hall, stood a young girl carrying a tray of drinks. Her hair tied back simply, her dress plain, but her face, her eyes, her smile. It was the same as the girl they had buried in their hearts years ago. The wife's lips shook as she whispered again, louder this time, "That's her. That's my daughter." The girl looked up, startled, her eyes wide as all attention fell on her. She nearly dropped the tray. The music stopped completely now, every guest staring. The millionaire's chest tightened, his mind racing. It was impossible. Their daughter had vanished long ago, no trace, no hope. Yet here she stood in front of them, alive, breathing, carrying drinks like an ordinary servant. He stepped forward, voice sharp. "Who are you?" "Girl," the girl stammered. "My name is Lyra, sir. I work here for the catering company. I don't know you." But her voice shook as if even she felt the strange connection in the room. The wife ran across the hall, ignoring the whispers, ignoring the shame of losing control in front of so many guests. She grabbed the girl's shoulders, tears falling from her eyes. "You are her. You are my child," the girl pulled back in fear. "No, madam, I'm not. I swear I don't know you." Security rushed forward, confused, ready to remove the girl for disturbing the party. But the wife screamed, "Don't touch her." Her voice echoed through the great hall, stronger than anyone had ever heard before. Silence fell heavy. The millionaire raised his hand. Stopping the guards, his eyes narrowed, he studied the girl's face. Every detail, the curve of her cheek, the color of her eyes, even the way she breathed. It was the same, too perfect to be chance, but he had seen too much of the world to believe so easily. Whispers spread like fire among the guests. "Is it really her? I thought she died. Could it be a trick?" The air filled with questions and fear. No one dared to move closer. Everyone felt the tension. The girl, trapped in the circle of eyes, trembled. "Please, I am not your daughter. I am just me." But inside her heart beat too fast. Strange memories flickered in her mind. Memories that did not belong to her. Stars, shadows, voices calling her name in a language she did not understand. The wife sobbed, holding her hand tightly. "You don't remember me. You don't remember your home." The girl shook her head. "No, I don't." But tears filled her eyes too, and she could not explain why. The millionaire's voice was calm now, but heavy. "If you are truly not her, we will see. Science does not lie." His words carried power, and everyone in the room felt the weight of them. The girl looked at him, her fear growing. The guard stepped back, waiting for orders. The wife clung to the girl, refusing to let go. The guests whispered again, unsure if they were watching a miracle or the beginning of something darker. The night of wealth had turned into a night of mystery. The music would not return. The light seemed colder. The girl who looked like the lost daughter stood frozen in the middle of the great hall, her life about to change forever, and somewhere unseen beyond the stars, something stirred as if this moment had been planned, as if this reunion was not an accident at all. The wife whispered once more, her voice soft but filled with fire. "I will not lose you again," and with those words, the world around them shifted. The party no longer mattered. Only the truth behind the girl, no one knew it yet. But this was the night everything would begin, the night when the line between human and something far greater would start to break, and the story that would astonish everyone had just taken its first breath. The investigation begins. The night after the party, the millionaire did not sleep. He sat in his study with the lights dim, his mind racing like a storm. The image of the girl's face burned in his memory. Every feature matched his lost daughter. Every detail whispered of the past, but his heart could not accept mystery without proof. He was a man who built empires with facts, not faith. His wife sat opposite him, her hands shaking, her eyes red from crying. she whispered again and again. It was her. I know it was her, he looked at her. Torn between love and reason, he wanted to believe. But the world of wealth had taught him one lesson. Nothing is ever what it seems. By morning, he made a decision. He called in men he trusted. Private investigators who owed him everything. Follow her, he ordered, his voice cold but steady. Find out who she is, where she comes from, and why she looks like my daughter. No one argued. His word was law. The girl, Lyra, had no idea her life had changed. She walked the streets of the poor district with her head down, clutching her small bag of belongings, her shoes worn, her coat thin against the chill of the night. She returned to her rented room above a bakery, unaware that eyes followed her every step. The investigators watched silently, recording everything. Her daily routine seemed ordinary. She worked long hours for little pay. She ate bread and soup. She spoke kindly to neighbors. She lived with the quiet patience of someone used to struggle, but still there were strange gaps. When they searched her records, they found nothing before 3 years ago. No school, no family, no childhood documents, as if she had appeared out of thin air. This discovery shook the millionaire. He stared at the report on his desk. His fingers pressing hard into the paper, his wife whispered, "It must be her." They erased her past to hide her. But he knew better. Records are powerful. To vanish completely means something far greater is at play. Meanwhile, Lyra herself felt unsettled. Her dreams grew sharper. Every night she saw stars spinning, machines humming, and voices calling her name, Lyra, Lyra, in tones that sounded both human and alien. She woke each morning sweating, holding her head, unable to explain the pain. One evening, as she cleaned the bakery floor, she cut her hand on broken glass. The wound should have bled, but before her friend could fetch cloth, the skin closed in seconds, leaving only a faint line. The friend gasped, How did you do that?" Lyra quickly hid her hand. It was nothing, just luck, but inside she trembled. Knowing it was not luck, the investigators noted this too. They reported unusual healing speed, unusual energy readings when she touched machines. Sometimes lights flickered when she walked past. Sometimes radios whispered static that seemed to echo her name. The millionaire read the details with a heavy heart. His wife cried in silence, "She is our child, she is," but something has changed her. He remained silent, staring out of the window at the city below. His decision grew heavier. He summoned scientists he trusted, men and women who dealt not in rumors but in truth. They tested a strand of her hair. The results stunned them all. The DNA was almost a perfect match to his daughter, 99.9% identical. The wife screamed with joy, hugging the papers. "See, I was right. She is ours." But the scientists whispered nervously, "Almost identical, but not exact. There are markers here we cannot explain, markers, not of normal human origin." The words chilled the millionaire. Even more than the discovery itself, that night as rain fell over the city, he met with Lyra secretly, his wife by his side. They brought her into the mansion quietly. The hall's dark, no guests, no laughter, only shadows. He studied her face closely, his voice deep. "Tell me the truth, girl. Where did you come from?" Lyra shook her head, tears in her eyes. "I don't know, sir. I only remember waking up one day 3 years ago in the woods. I had no past, no family, just my name, Lyra. I thought I was ordinary." The wife reached for her hands, holding them tight. "You are not ordinary. You are my child." But the millionaire's eyes hardened. He felt both fear and hope battling inside him. This girl was more than she seemed, perhaps more than human. And such mysteries never remain secret for long. Unseen by them, others already moved in the shadows. Government agents whispering about a security risk, scientists in hidden labs murmuring about alien codes, and machines in distant corners of the city quietly flickering awake as if they had heard her name too. The investigation had begun, but what they had uncovered was only the first layer of truth, a truth that reached beyond the city, beyond the world, and perhaps even beyond humanity itself. The girl's struggle. Lyra sat on the edge of her narrow bed in the small room above the bakery. The city lights flickered through the cracked window, her hands pressed against her face, her heart heavy. She could not escape the feeling that her life was no longer her own. Ever since the night at the mansion, strangers had followed her. Whispers trailed her steps. Eyes watched her even when she thought she was alone. She wanted to believe she was just an ordinary girl, poor but free, but every mirror now frightened her. When she looked at her reflection, she no longer saw only herself. She saw the face of the daughter the rich woman had cried for. She saw a ghost of someone she had never known. The investigators stayed close. Always in the background, they noted her movements, her words, her strange dreams, but they could not record what weighed heaviest. The battles inside her mind. At night she tossed and turned. Her sleep broken by visions, endless skies filled with stars, towers of light rising from the ground, and voices calling not in one tongue but many, not just human but deeper, like echoes through the universe. She woke drenched in sweat, clutching the sheets, whispering, "Who am I?" The bakery owner noticed her pale face. "You work too hard, child," he said kindly. But his words could not soothe her. She felt cracks forming inside her soul, as if she was split in two, one part human, the other something she could not understand. Her body too betrayed her when she burned her hand on the oven. The skin healed before anyone could fetch water. When she brushed past old machines in the corner of the street, their broken lights flickered alive for a brief second. Children pointed and laughed, calling her magic. She forced a smile, but inside she was terrified. The scientists who had tested her whispered among themselves, their reports filled with words like mutation, energy anomaly, and non-human markers. She never heard these words directly, but she felt them in the air, in the way people looked at her, as if she was not a girl but a riddle to be solved. Her heart longed for answers, yet she feared what the truth would mean. One evening, as rain poured heavy on the city, Lyra walked the empty streets. She pulled her coat tighter. Her shoes splashed in puddles, but she did not notice the cold. Her mind was louder, questions spinning like storms. She whispered to herself, "Am I their daughter? Am I even human?" She stopped beneath a broken street lamp. Her reflection in the puddle below stared back at her, but this time the water rippled, and for a heartbeat she saw another face, brighter, glowing, eyes filled with light. She gasped, stepping back. The image vanished. Only the rain remained. The next morning she tried to live as if nothing had changed. But the world refused to let her in the market. Strangers stared at her longer than usual. Whispers followed. "That's the girl from the mansion. They say she came back from the dead. Maybe she's cursed." Each word cut her like a blade. Back at the mansion, the millionaire and his wife argued. The wife begged to bring her home to care for her as family, but the millionaire's voice stayed cold. "We need answers before we give her our trust. Love does not blind me to danger." His words reached her ears too, through servants who whispered, and they hurt more than she admitted. That night she sat alone again, hugging her knees, staring at the faint scar on her hand that was no longer there. She whispered into the dark, "If I am not who they think, then who am I?" Her chest ached and tears fell, not just because of fear, but because deep inside she wanted to belong. She wanted to be someone's daughter. She wanted to stop running from the questions that hunted her. Then for the first time a memory surfaced, clear and sharp, not of the bakery, not of the streets, but of a sky filled with swirling lights, of hands reaching out to her, hands not human but made of glowing energy. A voice echoing inside her head. "We will return you when the time is right," she gasped, clutching her temples, falling to the floor, her breath ragged. No, it's not real. But the memory would not leave. It burned into her like fire, unseen by her. In another part of the city, machines in factories flickered. Data screens flashed strange codes, and far away in the government's hidden rooms, alarms buzzed. Their scientists looked at each other with fear. "She's awakening," one said. Lyra pressed her head against the cold wall of her room, tears mixing with sweat. The world wanted to decide for her who she was, but inside she knew her struggle was only beginning. She was not just fighting the rich couple's claims. She was not just fighting suspicion. She was fighting the truth rising inside her, a truth that could change everything. The hidden truth emerges. Storm clouds gathered over the city that night, the air heavy with thunder, as if the sky itself waited for something to happen. In the mansion of the millionaire, the wife paced the floor, her hands twisting the fabric of her gown, her voice breaking as she whispered, "They will take her away from us. They will steal her again." The millionaire stood still, his eyes sharp, watching reports arrive one after another. The government had noticed. They always noticed when something strange appeared. Files were delivered in secret, warnings stamped in red. "Subject is a possible threat. Immediate containment advised." The millionaire clenched his fist, his world of control slipping. He was used to owning everything he touched. But this girl, this mystery, was beyond even his wealth. The wife refused to sit. She cried, "She is our daughter. I don't care what they say. I don't care what she has become. She belongs with us." but he shook his head, his voice low. If she is our daughter, then why does she carry the marks of something not human? The words hurt them both. Far away in her small room, Lyra felt the pressure too. She sat curled against the wall, her head buzzing with half-formed memories, lights, voices, energy that hummed like a second heartbeat inside her. She did not know why her body healed, why machines flickered near her, but she knew eyes were closing in. She felt them like shadows crawling closer. That evening, black cars rolled through the streets. Men in dark coats stepped out. They moved like hunters, quiet, cold, efficient. They had orders to take her alive. She was no longer just a girl. She was a security asset, but before they could reach her door, another figure slipped inside, an old man with tired eyes, a scientist who once worked in hidden government labs. He whispered urgently, "Lyra, they are coming for you. You must leave now." She froze, backing away. "Who are you? Why do you know my name?" He lifted trembling hands. "Because I was there when you disappeared. I was part of the experiment. The one they never told the world about." Her breath caught. His words echoed through her chest like thunder. "Experiment," she repeated. Her voice weak. The man nodded, his face pale. "Years ago, your parents allowed you to join a program. They thought it was safe, a way to study human contact with others, but something went wrong. The energy we tried to control swallowed you. We thought you were lost forever, but now you are here, changed. Returned." Her legs shook. She leaned against the wall. No, I don't remember. I never agreed to this." "I was never," but her mind betrayed her. Flashes came. Bright halls filled with humming machines, her small hands reaching out. Her mother's tearful face as she was pulled away. Then light, endless light swallowing her whole. Tears burned her eyes. "So I am her," she whispered. "I am their daughter." But the man shook his head. "Not only their daughter, you are something more now. Something born between two worlds, and that is why they fear you." Outside, the sound of heavy boots echoed on the street. The agents were close. The scientist grabbed her arm. "You must run. If they take you, you will never see freedom again." At the mansion, the millionaire received a call. His jaw tightened. "They found her," he muttered. The wife screamed, grabbing his coat. "Then stop them. She is ours." Not theirs, but he could not answer. Because deep inside he wondered if she was truly theirs, or if she now belonged to something far greater. The agents kicked open the bakery door, shouting commands, but the room was empty. Lyra and the old scientist were gone, vanished into the rain-soaked night. The agents searched with anger, but it was too late. The city swallowed her like smoke. That night, Lyra hid in an abandoned warehouse. The scientist by her side, she shook with fear and anger. "Why me? Why did they choose me? Why did they let this happen?" The man's eyes were filled with guilt. "Because you were special. Even before the experiment, your mind, your energy, it reached further than we understood. The others wanted to know if humanity could connect with them through you." She stared at him, her voice shaking. "Them, who is them?" the man whispered, almost afraid to say the word. "The ones who touched our world before, the ones who gave us fragments of knowledge, the ones who wait among the stars." Her breath caught. The voices in her dreams suddenly made sense. They were not madness. They were memories. She pressed her hands to her ears, but the voices only grew louder, clearer, calling her by name. Meanwhile, far beyond the city, signals bounced in the dark sky. Machines left silent for decades stirred awake. And in the mansion, the wife stared out the window, clutching her locket with her daughter's picture, whispering, "Come back to me, please, come back." But Lyra was no longer just a daughter. She was a secret written into the fabric of the universe, and the truth that had begun to emerge would not stop now. The storm rumbled louder. Lightning split the sky, and for the first time, Lyra did not just fear the voices, she understood them. They were not calling her to run. They were calling her to rise. Humanity reacts. The morning sun rose weakly over the city, but instead of warmth, it brought fear. Newspapers carried the story of the mysterious girl who looked like the lost daughter of the millionaire. Headlines screamed words like miracle return and alien threat. Her face printed across every page. Her name whispered on every street corner. People in the markets argued loudly, some saying she was a gift from heaven, others insisting she was a danger. "She healed too fast," one man shouted. "That's not human," another replied. "But if she came back, maybe she is chosen. Maybe she is hope." Fear and hope mixed in the air, thick like smoke. In schools, children pointed at the pictures. Some whispered in awe, others in fear, and in the factories machines buzzed strangely, as if even metal recognized her. Workers crossed themselves and muttered prayers. The government tightened its grip. Secret meetings filled the night. Men in uniforms declared her a national threat. If she is connected to outsiders, she could be a weapon, they warned. But others argued if she is truly part of us, then destroying her would mean destroying our chance at first contact. The millionaire sat in his study, the papers spread across his desk. His jaw locked tight. His wife clung to his arm, her voice shaking. They want to take her. They want to cage her, but I will not let them. She is mine. She is ours. Her eyes burned with the fire of a mother who refused to lose her child again. He spoke with a colder tone. If we fight the government, we risk everything. Wealth, power, reputation, but if we hand her over, we lose her forever. His mind balanced between fear and strategy, but his heart carried a wound deeper than he showed. Meanwhile, Lyra herself hid in the shadows of the city. Every step a risk, her face now known everywhere. Strangers stared too long, some with kindness, some with hatred. She wrapped her coat tighter and kept her head down, but whispers followed her wherever she went. The old scientist who had helped her escape sat by her side, his voice low. The world will never see you the same way again. Some will worship you, others will hunt you, and both will destroy you if they can. She stared at him with wide eyes, her voice trembling. Then where do I belong? But even as she asked, she already felt the answer stirring inside. She belonged not to one side, not only to the family that claimed her, not only to the strangers who feared her, but to something greater. One night, a group of protesters marched through the streets holding torches and banners. Some cried out, "She is the child of light. She will lead us," while others shouted, "Monster abomination. Destroy her before she destroys us." The voices clashed, echoing through the city. The millionaire's wife saw the chaos from her mansion window. Tears filled her eyes. "This is not her fault," she whispered. "She is only a girl." But the world no longer saw her as only a girl. In the government's hidden chambers, officers prepared plans, weapons tested, cages built, and scientists drew maps of her DNA. They wanted to cut apart the mystery, to own it, to control it, one whispered nervously. But what if she is connected? What if touching her brings them here? The room fell silent, the possibility too large to ignore. Back in her hiding place, Lyra sat trembling, holding her knees. The voices in her head grew stronger each day. She began to understand fragments of their language, words like time, bridge, return. She whispered them aloud without meaning to, and the warehouse lights flickered in response. The old scientist watched in awe, fear trembling in his hands. "You are not just human and not just alien. You are something in between, and the world will not know how to accept that." The millionaire's wife defied everyone, slipping away from guards and reporters. She found Lyra at last, hidden in the cold warehouse. The moment she saw her, she rushed forward, wrapping her arms around her. "I don't care what you are my child." "No matter what they say." Lyra stiffened, tears burning her eyes, her lips trembling. "But what if I am not? What if I am something else?" The woman shook her head fiercely. "Then I will love you even more, because you survived when no one else could." But the reunion did not go unnoticed. Cameras flashed in the dark. Agents recorded every second. And by dawn, the world knew again. Debates filled the highest halls. The question no longer just about one girl, but about all of humanity. Was she proof that humans were not alone? Was she a warning? Was she a weapon? Or was she the bridge to something greater? The streets swelled with noise, the world's eyes turned to her. Some ready to kneel, others ready to kill. And far above, unseen by most, a signal pulsed into the sky, an answer waiting in the dark. The ones who had touched her before were listening, and soon they would come. The alien connection. The city slept uneasily, but Lyra could not close her eyes. She sat in the corner of the warehouse, her knees drawn up, her fingers pressed against her temples. The voices inside her head grew louder, no longer whispers but steady calls. Like signals repeating through endless space, she could almost understand them. Pieces of words slipping into meaning. "We are near. We are waiting. Awaken." Her breath quickened. The air around her seemed to vibrate. The lamps above flickered as if obeying the soundless command. The old scientist watched in fear, scribbling notes with a trembling hand. "It's happening," he muttered. "The connection is activating. They are pulling her closer." The millionaire's wife sat beside Lyra, holding her tightly, refusing to let go, whispering, "Stay with me no matter what happens. Stay with me." But even as she spoke, she could feel something strange. The girl's skin warmed under her touch, glowing faintly as if light lived beneath it. Outside, the government tightened its grip. Black vans patrolled the streets. Agents received urgent orders. If she activates, neutralize immediately. They loaded weapons designed for threats never seen before. The word alien hung heavy in their voices, but Lyra was no longer just hiding. Her dreams opened wider. She saw skies filled with great arcs of light, structures rising higher than mountains, beings made not of flesh but of radiant energy, their forms shifting like fire and water, and they spoke without mouths, their voices filling her mind. "You are the bridge," they told her. "Half of them, half of us. You were chosen, not broken." "You are the key," she gasped, clutching her chest, her heart pounding as images flooded her. She saw the night she vanished years ago, the experiment, the burst of energy, but she did not die. She was carried, lifted into a place between worlds. They had touched her, changed her, returned her as something new. The old scientist stepped closer, eyes wide. "You're remembering," he whispered. "Tell me what you see." But before she could speak, the warehouse shook. Sparks rained from broken wires. Machines nearby roared awake, even those without power. Radios blared with static that shaped into her name. The city outside felt it too. Traffic lights blinked wildly. Screens in offices flickered with strange patterns. Satellites orbiting above caught signals no human had sent. Panic spread. "It's her!" people shouted. "The girl is causing it." The millionaire received dozens of calls. Warnings, demands, threats, but he ignored them all. His eyes fixed only on the thought of his daughter, his voice steady. "If she is our blood, then no power on earth will take her from me." Yet even he wondered if she was still only his child, or something far beyond. In the warehouse, Lyra rose to her feet, her eyes glowing faintly now, her voice trembling. "They are coming. I can feel them." The wife tightened her grip. "Then let them come. You are not alone." But the old scientist shook his head. "You don't understand. When they come, the world will change forever. No one will be ready." Suddenly, Lyra spoke in a tongue she did not know, words flowing like music, her voice layered with echoes, the alien language alive on her lips. The floor lit up with patterns of light, a circle glowing under her feet. The warehouse groaned as if bending to her will. Miles away, government control rooms lit up with alarms. Scientists shouted, "Unidentified energy surge." "Location locked." Generals barked orders. "Deploy containment units now." Fear gripped their hearts, because they knew this was not just one girl. This was a door opening. The wife clutched Lyra tighter, tears falling. "Please stop, they'll come for you." But Lyra shook her head, her glowing eyes soft with sadness. "I can't stop it, Mother. They are already here." And then, in the night sky above the city, strange lights appeared, silent and vast, not like planes, not like stars, but moving in patterns too perfect, too alive. Crowds poured into the streets, pointing at the sky, fear and awe mixing into cries. "They're here." The government scrambled. Jets scrambled into the air, but their systems faltered. Their radios filled only with static. Their weapons refused to lock, as if the machines themselves refused to fight. In the mansion, the millionaire stood at the balcony, his heart pounding. He had conquered men, money, and nations. But now he looked up and realized none of it mattered. The sky belonged to something far greater. In the warehouse, Lyra's body shook, her voice layered with both human pain and alien power. "They are asking me to choose," she whispered, "to be with them, or to stay with you." The wife held her tighter. "Stay with us. You are my daughter." The scientist stepped forward, his face pale. "If she goes with them, humanity may lose her, but if she stays, she may never control what she is." The air grew heavy. The lights in the sky drew closer, their glow bathing the city in silver light. Lyra's tears glistened, caught between two worlds. The voices in her mind louder now than ever. "Choose, bridge, choose." The ground shook, glass shattered, and the night turned brighter than day. Humanity's eyes lifted as one, and in that moment everyone knew the time of secrets was over. The connection had begun. The astonishing conclusion. The night sky glowed brighter than day. Silver beams stretched across the city. People in the streets froze where they stood, their faces lifted, fear and wonder clashing in their eyes. Above them hovered shapes that were not ships, Not stars, but something in between, alive with light and silence. In the warehouse, the air pulsed with power. Every broken machine hummed, every wire sparked, as if the world itself bent toward Lyra. She stood trembling, her eyes glowing, her voice layered with echoes, the words not her own. They are here, they are waiting for me. The wife clung to her daughter, her voice fierce and desperate. Stay with us, please. Don't leave again. Her tears ran down her face. Dripping onto Lyra's glowing hands, the old scientist stood back, his breath shaking, whispering, "The bridge is complete. This is the moment they planned." Outside, sirens wailed, soldiers formed lines, weapons raised but trembling. Generals shouted orders, "Contain her, stop this before it spreads," but the soldiers hesitated, their guns heavy in their hands because the sky itself seemed to watch them. Then a voice filled the air, not from speakers, not from mouths, but from everywhere at once, deep and clear. "We do not come to conquer. We do not come to destroy. We come because she called, and because she belongs to both of us." The words shook the hearts of everyone who heard them. Even the most hardened soldiers lowered their guns, their faces pale with awe. Lyra gasped, clutching her chest. "They want me to choose to walk with them, to leave everything behind." The wife's grip tightened. "No, you are my child. You are not theirs." Her voice cracked but did not break, her love stronger than fear. The millionaire arrived then, his black car screeching to a halt. He pushed past the guards and stormed into the warehouse, his eyes wide at the sight of the glowing child, his daughter. His voice thundered, "If you take her, you take my blood, you take my life. I will not allow it." For a moment, the world hung in silence, the aliens above waiting, the humans below trembling, the girl caught between two destinies. Lyra's tears glowed as they fell, her heart torn, the voices of light urging her forward, her mother's arms pulling her back, her father's roar filling the air. She whispered, "I am human, but I am more. I am both." The old scientist stepped closer, his eyes wet. "Child, they gave you power, but only you can decide what it means, not them, not us." Her glowing eyes turned toward her mother, the woman who never stopped believing, toward her father, the man who doubted but still came for her, and toward the sky where beings of light waited patiently. Finally, she lifted her chin, her voice steady though her body shook. "I choose humanity. I choose them because love is stronger than fear." The light above trembled, pulsing brighter, but instead of anger, a calm washed over the city. The great forms in the sky shifted, their voices softer now. "Then you will be the bridge that stays, not leaves. You will walk with them and through you. We will know them." The silver beams slowly faded, the ships of light pulled back into the stars, leaving only a soft glow that lingered in the night sky. As if a promise had been made, Lyra collapsed into her mother's arms, the glow fading from her skin, her body weak but alive. The wife held her tightly, sobbing with relief, whispering, "You are home, you are mine." The millionaire stood above them, his eyes wet though he hid it with pride, his hand trembling as he placed it on his daughter's shoulder. The soldiers lowered their weapons fully, the generals silent. No one dared disturb the moment. The world had changed, and they all knew it. In the days that followed, the world argued still. Some called her a savior, others called her a threat. But one truth remained unshaken. The girl who looked like the lost daughter was not just one family's miracle. She was proof that humanity was not alone, proof that compassion could bridge even the stars. Lyra herself walked slowly through her new life, still hearing faint whispers at night. But now they were not commands. They were songs, gentle and patient. She was no longer only afraid of them, because she had chosen her place. She had chosen to be human. Her mother never left her side. Her father watched her with guarded pride, and the old scientist stayed near, recording, protecting, always remembering the night the universe itself bent to a girl's decision. One evening, as the sun set in golden light, Lyra stood at the balcony of the mansion. The city spread below her. She closed her eyes and whispered, "I am not just lost, I am not just found. I am both." Her words carried into the air like a vow, far above, hidden among the stars. The beings of light waited not as rulers, not as enemies, but as watchers, keeping their promise, knowing that through her, humanity had stepped into a greater story. And in the mansion, the wife smiled through tears, holding her daughter's hand, whispering softly, "You came back to me, and this time, no one will ever take you away again." The world had changed forever, but in that moment, love was enough.